Suryagni, we can see that there is also a heightened security presence there on the ground. What's triggered this latest fresh wave of protesters coming out onto the streets? Has there been some sort of a trigger that's led to once again this volatile situation on ground?
See, it's still not known. It's still not known what triggered this, the incident that happened today afternoon. It's still unclear that what really happened and what triggered this kind of a reaction over here. I'll just show you around once. It's a very residential area. It's the same area where the violence broke out last evening, and today itself now. More police forces have been brought over here to make sure that somehow the situation is brought under control, and the police has been making their requests to these people over here to calm down and disperse, but that hasn't really happened, and the police is trying hard to make sure that they disperse and they leave the spot. Akshita.
Okay, as far as the protests and violence that happened yesterday versus what's happening right now, Suryagni, the situation and the focus of the forces there, of the cops there, will be to ensure that things don't escalate, that there's no sort of violence that breaks out on the streets. But it looks like, with everyone refusing to disperse right now, the cops will be forced to resort to a lathi charge. Yesterday's incident, Suryagni, has anyone been taken into custody? What's the kind of action that's been taken by the cops? You can see, in fact, a flag march of sorts being conducted right now by the cops. They're all of them in their numbers with their riot gear, walking along the streets.
Akshita, let me just tell you, we broke this in the morning itself, that 36 people have been arrested since last morning. Now the situation over here, it seems that it is getting somewhat out of hand, and maybe that is the reason why more police force has been deployed over here. As we were rightly speaking, that it is the onus of the police to make sure that no untoward incident happens over here, and that these people somehow they return to their homes and let peace prevail.
Right, the situation very, very sensitive there. As you can see on your screens, there are people who are gathering in huge numbers, chanting slogans. Are these local, Suryagni, or do the cops believe that there are some outsider elements also involved? Looks like we've lost our connection with Suryagni. We'll just reconnect with him. But you can see on your screens there, many people who've gathered chanting slogans, some of them covering their face, the others walking about, continuing to raise slogans. As you see, also a huge police presence on the ground. There will be questions about why they're allowing people to amass in these kind of numbers when clearly they're walking about there, chanting slogans, not with an intent of ensuring peace, but with an intent to disrupt peace. And so there will be questions about why the cops aren't dispersing them immediately. You can see the police force out there in full riot gear, trying to ensure that the situation doesn't go out of control. But at this point, things are still very, very volatile, as you can see here on your screens. There are people who've gathered, and we understand that the cops are trying to hold them off to ensure no clashes break out. You can see on the left of your screens the kind of police deployment currently on the streets of Howrah. Remember, violence broke out yesterday. A full 24 hours later, things are still very, very tense on the ground. There's a flag march that's been conducted by the cops to send out a message to any troublemaker that they cannot afford to go ahead and resort to any sort of violence. But there are already reports coming in of stone pelting that has been reported in some parts of Howrah today as well. And let me again remind you, viewers, it's been 24 hours since the last report of violence came in, and despite that, in that whole 24 hours, they've still not successfully been able to ensure that calm prevails in this area of Bengal, where violence once again has peaked on the streets. There's been a lot of back and forth also over exactly what happened. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, speaking exclusively to us here on India Today, to Rajdeep Sardesai, highlighted that she believes that all of this is a conspiracy, that the BJP is to blame, that they provoked the minority community living there, even as the BJP has said that there's no question of that, that this is quite simply a failure of law and order.